Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Soul Sync podcast, where we keep it real, raw, and all the way inspiring. I'm your host, Devontae, and today y'all are in for a treat. Now, on this show, we love to dive deep into the truth about life, relationships, personal growth, and most importantly, accountability. And today, I got somebody who embodies all of that. He's the incredible Real Shit Let's Talk podcast where he doesn't just scratch the surface, he gets real nitty gritty of what it takes to grow and evolve and level up. JR is here with us today to talk about everything from holding ourselves accountable to building real relationships and transforming our lives. Now, we're about to drop some gems that's going to have you reflecting and taking action. So, without further ado, let's welcome the one, the only JR from the Real Shit Let's Talk.
Hey, what's going on, family? How you doing?
Man, listen, I just want to say that I am happy that you're on this podcast. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
And that I just want to welcome you. So I would love to start by hearing your story. So listen, what inspired you to create Real Shit Let's Talk, and what does keeping it real mean to you when it comes to relationships, accountability, and personal growth?
Well, Real Shit Let's Talk was by I was having a conversation one day, to be honest, and we always realize that it's more out here in the world that you can get done, as other than, just going to college, other just winning the lottery, or just basing yourself off of whatever the world tells you you got to be forced to be. And so it was on my conscience, and I was like, man, I need to create like a talk show or like a podcast. And at that time, it felt like a few years ago, I didn't know what a podcast really was, right? I thought it was really just for the white people, but any information worth withholding from our culture or any culture is put in the book. And so I heard of David Shands, and I looked into it. I went to like a little get together at his establishment, talked about it, put my name up there, and it was like, yo, we like the name, but at first, like, you go through brand changing and stuff like that. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like Real Shit Let's Talk podcast, the humble, the noble, and the great, or something like that. And they was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We don't care about the humble, the noble, and the other stuff. We like real shit. Let's talk. Like that's it. Then I had like a shit emoji, a poop emoji on the
Uh,
thing. They was like, yo, it looks kind of kiddish. Like, are you an adult? And that was just constructive criticism, right?
right.
And that's when I talked to Rich and Unemployed, and I was trying to get with him. I was like, yo, you know, hey, can we, do some and collab? He's like, I don't know right now, that right there. I don't really get with that, constructive criticism, but it was cool. I knew where I wanted to go. So I went back to the drawing boards and just put it together and just like say, hey, I need something that signifies this, but it's a fashion like brand statement. So when I did that, man, it was a no brainer. I got that within like a week or two, and boom, I start changing it out. And next thing you know, I really honed in on going to Podcast Summit with David Shands. That was a really good one. I did the masterminds. That was a good one. And I got a lot of gems from it, a lot of information. I also realized too that it costs a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? To
Yeah.
do in the sense of your 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 pockets.
Yep.
So when I did that, I told myself, I said, I don't got all this money, so I'm not gonna take it like that serious, but I'm gonna take it a little bit serious. And it was this pastor that was like, hey, come to my office real quick. Look right here at this camera. Put on my mic and everything, and I started talking. He's like, if you're gonna do it, do it. So I did it, and like the heck, got me like 70 views. I was like, yeah, wow, I got 70 views. I'm thinking it's something. You know what I'm saying? And as
Yeah.
I went further in and looking at what David Shands does, what Brendan Boyd does, what Neo Mike Davis, him 500, all these people do. My 70 is a little peon on the chart. So this past February, February 1st, I dropped my trailer. February 2nd, like I put it in, like I honed in on what I really wanted. And I just started putting the pedal to the metal because I thought it was all about the money. And when I did that, I psyched myself out. So I was like, I can't do this. I can't afford this. I need a sure mic. I need this type of lighting. I need this, that, and the third. And I felt that I needed all of these things that were holding me back, but find out like of everything, I was just self like sabotaging myself. I was like going under the radar with being I didn't put my all in. I just gave up because it would cost me a few dollars. It was some money that was needed. And man, I bought a mic for a good price, a tripod stand for a good price, and I started getting to work. And once I started getting to work, the reps in, that's what really started happening and making things shake for me, which was, hey, let's do this. I'm gonna make this work. Hey, let's do this. I'm gonna make this work. And a lot of things that I looked around me is like I got a clothing brand. Um, I got some other licenses under my belt and different things of that nature, certifications. But I really felt I found my purpose. And my purpose was to get the real and authentic self of human people or occupations that people don't really get the nitty gritty in. So you want to get the real, we want to get the authentic, and sometimes we just want to talk some shit. You know what I'm saying? So I put it all
Uh,
together, and I've learned that the biggest things that you're supposed to do, man, when you come up with an idea and you search the net to be like, hey, is there's nobody took this name, and you trying to formulate an LLC, formulate your LLC, get your Duns and Bradstreet number, turn around, trademark that. Once you trademark that, hold on to it. Spend all the money up front because you're gonna make it back on the back end. That's what I learned most, and did just that, and just kept rocking and rolling.
okay, so let's take it back real quick. I do actually want to get a little bit about the David Shands thing. So, like, I love social proof podcasts. I love watching the podcast all the time. I actually always wanted to go on the podcast, even if not to be on there at that time, but
hmm
at least be able to be in the experience, right?
hmm
So, tell me when you first got there, like, so were you like invited there, or did you have to pay to be in there to kind of like to pretty much be around them, or like how did that process go?
It was the first time. It was an invite. Like you had to be on the list, and he was just doing like get together or gathering at his social proof like clubhouse. I mean, creators clubhouse.
Okay.
And I put up for it, and I was like, okay. And I had to drive a little bit, but I got there, and hey, I was there. I took pictures, and I knew what I wanted. And it was like sometimes what you want to do to get in that room, sometimes you got to pay a little bit of money. But I paid when I went to Podcast Summit. I paid a pretty penny. Like I could have bought Podcast Summit at least 3 or 4 times over how much I paid to be in the mastermind. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And that
okay.
put me in the masterminds. And then next year he didn't have a masterminds. All he had was All Star. So boom, I went to All Star. You never stop doing the very thing that you really want. If you really truly want it, it's gonna happen for you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you don't have to stop it because it costs you a little bit of money, but it comes with a saying, put the money where your mouth is. So he has recordings, and I don't know if you're a part of the morning meetup, but the morning meetup uh, is like I won a year's subscription to the morning meetup. I stayed in it for a year. This is my second year in it, but now I'm paying for it. So it's like $79 a month.
Yeah, I
But
remember when it was first like I remember during when he do his podcast and it used to be like I think what for like for a month at that time. It was probably like maybe like $10 a month, I think it was, or $5 a month. It was something like that he did for the longest time. Then he started, I guess, when his community started growing more, then he had to up the prices more.
Right. It's always when you add value, right? Something that we're learning
Hmm.
right now. We got to add value to ourselves. We have to add value to the different things that are around us. And once we do that, man, we add value. It's nothing we can't do. That's what I'm learning.
That take you out. Okay.
Yes, it's trying to take me out for real. But I'm
Okay
listening.
then. So let's shift a little bit. So let's talk about accountability, right? So you help men and women level up about what are, like you help men. Can't talk today. You help men and women level up, but what are some common reasons people struggle to hold themselves accountable in their relationships or even personal goals? To your opinion.
It's being held responsible, man. It's a responsible thing. Accountability goes in so many different levels, man, where you have to look at not only the person, but it's like, do I really want to do it? Procrastination, self sabotaging. Sort of like kind of like what we talked about just a few minutes ago. Like I
Hmm.
sabotage myself because of the money. I was like, yo, I can't do this because it costs so much. And in relationships, accountability is just being there for that person. Like some days you're going to be 70, some days that person's going to be 30. Some days you're going to want to get up and do something, and other days you're just going to have to get up and make it happen. Things don't happen unless you make them happen. You have to take action. So those things is procrastination, self-sabotaging, and just not stepping up to the plate to be like, hey, I'm gonna keep on swinging until I hit a home run. I'm gonna keep on going and trucking. And so, kind of like to piggyback off of what we was talking about just now, like when you do go, like trust me, you're gonna have fun. Like it's all you're gonna be taking notes. You're gonna be like, okay, it's the simple things that intrigue us. Like I met David Shins like a handful of times. The object of the game is to not to be like a groupie type of person, right?
Right.
It's to ask the pertinent questions to get what you need done. We say, hey, I got a podcast and these are the numbers that it's doing. Now, if you're doing 100, 200,000, 200,000 downloads per episode, then, there's a little shift. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, I'm going to check you out. He's a upfront dude. So accountability is like he owns up to his faults. He owns up to showing you how to be a businessman or woman. And so I took those methodologies and I created the 21 day accountability workbook, right? It's a do it yourself, accountability workbook, but
Okay.
it holds you accountable for 21 days. And in this book, it has the SMART goals, it has the affirmations, it has to shift your mindset, all compacted into 21 days worth of information. And from there, that's just like you can't beat that with a stick. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's giving that type of information. And accountability goes for you, your kids, your significant other, your people that you work with, because you're gonna be like, yo, if I used to drink coffee and I need to lose weight, I'm gonna stop drinking coffee. I'm gonna figure out how to get in shape. I'm gonna do things. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna exercise. I'm gonna meditate. I'm gonna do all these things. And so I formulated all those key components into my book, my 21 Day Accountability Challenge Workbook.
Okay.
And for every 21 days, this is what you're doing. But say you want more, and there's more to it. There's one-on-one coaching that's, an additional price, but or quote unquote, you just need that little push, like a community. I have my own community. So my community is the accountability squad community. Some of the same key components from the book, but majority, you have access to me and I have access to you. We're doing daily goals. We're dropping gems. We're dropping little good books to read. We're dropping these things in there to be consistently challenging and changing your mindset to make you a better man or a better woman.
Okay, nice. So what? So about your accountability book. So how? So like, if somebody wanted to get a hold of that, is that free or is it just a cost for the accountability book?
So there's a cost for it, or the other option is you get inside my community and I'll send the book to you for free.
Ah, okay, all right. And
So
how much?
that's a go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Will you? But yeah, I think you're about to say it.
I would say, oh, okay. So to just purchase the book, do it yourself, it's going to be $37.
Okay,
To get into community, it's $69. Now, once you get in the community, there's some small things in there that you can ask questions, you can pair up and team up with different people, and the community is like I keep it kind of small right now. So you get in, boom, we're doing this, and you can communicate with each other on the daily, which typically we do. But if we don't, then it's like, hey, today my win was, or today I'm failing to do what, accountability. Like you're able to and get feedback. And I'm pretty much on the app all the time, just waiting for something, or if I got something, I drop it, boom, and it's there. And people just keep going, man. That's pretty much it, though.
okay. So I know you spoke on a little bit of the different, well, at least the general aspect in your book. So, like, if you can tell us, like, what are some daily habits or routines that you recommend to help people stay accountable and focused, whether that's in relationship, personal development, or work. So, like, just to kind of paint like a picture for for the listeners that may have
So,
an accurate reading.
okay, so let's say this, like you go to work, right? Say you got to
Right.
go up, get in the office. You got to be there no later than 8:30, right?
Okay.
But you have family, you have kids, you have this, that, and the third. Well, then you got to start shifting the things that are priority, which is the kids, your well-being, your significant other if you have one. But what
Okay.
you'll do is you'll start waking up early. You'll go to bed early, and then you'll wake up earlier. So when you wake up earlier, it might be 5:30, 6:15, the latest, right? Because remember, you still got to be at work at 8:30. So you try
Right.
to give yourself, so you might be like, hey, I'm gonna get up at 6 a.m. and I'm going to go and brush my teeth. I'm gonna listen to something positive for the 15 minutes. And boom, you're listening to some affirmations, something that's motivating you, or you read the daily affirmations within the book and you say, okay, how am I going to use this and apply this to my day? Then you start doing things, you prep things, you kind of set your mindset from Sunday all the way from Sunday to Sunday. Will things always work out? No. But you set yourself on a schedule and a routine, and then every now and then, if there's some things that doesn't work, take them out.
Hmm.
Replace them, replace the old habits with the new habits. And again, like if drinking coffee is your one thing, okay, instead of drinking coffee, drink some tea. Instead of going to sleep at 11, try to go to sleep about 10:30, 10 p.m. Get everybody situated, get everything done. Once you do all that, man, and just start the small things. It's the small stuff. You lay out your clothes the day before. You know what I'm saying? You already know what you're gonna wear. You already meal prep for the week. So you know all I gotta do is just grab my lunch. And sometimes it's about working out before you go to work, if you can. Or you say, hey, I've set a schedule. I'm going to work out after work or after I take care of everybody within the household. Boom, I'm going to go work out. And you make a consistent schedule and you stay committed to it. Because, like Brandon Boyd said, you must be convicted of your issues and your problems and be committed to solving those and executing your goals. That's it.
Mm.
Oh, and in a relationship, same thing applies. You might not have always the biggest finances, but you make it work. But you do what you can with what you've got because when you make millions, you'll know how to treat that money better to take care of your significant other.
Okay, so I like those. I actually like those points. Those are actually some really good, valid points you made. I want to. So I want to ask you. I want to get your view on this. Do you feel like that for some human beings, right? Like with the things you said, right? Like when you said, like, say you're going to bed like at 11 o'clock, go to bed probably at 10:30 or so, like that, right? You would think
Hmm.
that that will kind of be like a common sense type of thing, but in reality, though, is that's not really the case. Like how we're raised and how we're going about society now, like most people kind of need somebody to provide some type of guidance that kind of guide them in the right direction of what is it that they're particularly looking for or looking to do, right?
Correct.
And do you feel like in today's society, do you feel like that, not all, but do you feel like quite like about most human beings are quite lazy?
I would say, going over numbers wise, yes, I'd agree. Some people are lazy. I mean, we all have something that makes us lazy, right? So, like, let's say, for instance, like, I might not, like, my shoes, I know they go in the closet, but I might leave them in front of the door because I know, hey, I'm going to walk back out. But in actuality, that's a little piece of me being a little lazy, right? But when I trip, I stumble, and I fall on the ground and I hurt myself, or somebody trips over and then hurt themselves, I realize my mistake, right?
Right.
So instead of instead of preventing that, I just was like, eh, it's just there, okay, boom, be lazy. But once the action has happened, now I'm like, oh man, I should have really put those up. I should have, kids would have failed, or kids falling, or whatever, or significant others falling. Yeah. So everybody has a lazy bone in their body, or a lazy part of them that's just not important. But those things, we have to get out of that mindset, and to target the small things. Remember, we started from small to big, because some
Right, bro.
people can't go from big to small. You know what I'm saying? It'll
Right.
overwhelm them. Anxiety, stress, um, some depressed, um, and some just like, some people, men and women, just need that extra push. And so for me, with the accountability, it's like, here, you could do it yourself. And because people pay attention to what they pay for. And if they pay for
Mhm.
it, then they're like, okay, I really got to go and follow this day by day. And if you shall fall off, that's only you to blame. We're so self-sabotaging in a way where we don't want to take accountability for failing, for forgetting, for doing something that caused us to landslide backwards. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where it's like, we either get too comfortable, or one or the other is like unleveled, and we're not at a balance, you know?
Right. Okay. So I agree with you. Um, especially too about right. The whole aspect of the balancing part. Because honestly, not everybody knows balance or how to manage their day to day lives, right? From working to coming home, now you guys still have energy for your family if you do have family, or let's
Hmm.
just say that you don't have no family, but just you living alone. You still got to try and manage a work life balance, whether you're trying to hang with friends too, right?
Hmm.
And
100%.
I think I think that because of what we call the rat race, people just constantly on this cogwheel running constantly in one direction, thinking they're gonna get somewhere, but they're not. They feel like change is gonna come, but it doesn't. So when they don't realize that, they still thinking that they're still stuck in this false sense of reality that go home, go to work, get a good go home, go to work, and then rinse and repeat, pretty much, right? And you live for the weekends. And I think too that when some people become really lazy, I think it's also too because they don't tend they don't tend to really put much effort into it because they feel like I go to work, come home, and watch TV or hang out a little bit, and then live for the weekends,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really it, right? And then
100%.
when you practice repetition after a certain amount of time, it starts becoming like a second nature. So now you're over here going through life, and you don't realize what's really going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is that when you are when you do want to hold somebody accountable, right? Now you're trying to talk about somebody who does something on a day to day, right? But here's the thing, though. What I learned is that when you introduce new things to somebody's life,
Mm-hmm.
right? You would think for you would think that you're giving it something, try to help them out, right? Provide a better detail, provide them like a better option in life, right?
Right.
So the thing is, though, when you provide that opportunity to somebody, they think it's really a distraction to them because now you're talking about taking them out of what they already are doing. What they're doing, they don't look at it as a distraction. But when you bring something to them, that's really a distraction to them because now they got to go out their way to do X, Y, and Z now instead of sticking with ABC. So accountability, in my personal view of things, is something that I do believe that most people need in their lives. Honestly, I feel like everybody needs accountability. They kind of keep them on their
100%.
toes. But at the same time, too, you got to sit back and realize, too, right, that even though you could be doing your part of trying to help them out with accountability, but it's up to them though to meet you halfway on that, right? Like you can
Yeah.
lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Facts.
So when you're talking about accountability, I can only imagine that there's probably been times where even though you have clients, right, that you help out, but
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time too, you could be doing your part and try to help provide that service right for them, but they shouldn't get mad at you when there's no results being shown because it's not a simple one-way thing. It's not that you could just wave a magic wand and then boom, now they're good, right? I wish it was that
Facts.
easy. I would love for it to
What?
be
Me
that
too.
easy.
Me too,
I would love
man.
to be like, boom, you're a millionaire now. Yes.
Right.
Like, I would love that, but we know that's not reality. So, and we
Facts.
got to work hard for it. And here's the thing, whether you working a job or whether you trying to work something for yourself, both of them going to be hard anyway. You just got to pick your hard. It's just that you're just picking the hard that's more sustainable to you and what makes sense for you. And
Facts.
that doesn't always mean it's going to be the right decision the entire time. It may be something for a short bit, like you said, right? You got to do it steps and do bit by bit pieces, right? Like if you
Right.
want to work towards something, then then you should do it step by step, work on different steps, do a checklist or something like that. So that way at least that big giant hurdle you're looking at now is going to different steps now. Now you can take in the necessary steps. But
I like
when
that.
you but when you don't have accountability, when you have nobody that's accountable trying to keep you on your horses, right? And
Right.
then also too, like just the ego thing, because ego also takes a part too in terms of accountability, and
Oh, I can say that.
it could be a good thing and a bad thing depending on how it's used and portrayed. Like if you have that ego
Right.
turns like like hey, I'm the ish, I know I can do this. I can live with that. That's fine. But when you have that ego, like, nah, you can't tell me nothing. Everything I do is right. Like that know it all type of attitude.
Right.
Nah,
Right.
that gotta leave out the door because that's just ridiculous to me.
Right. Yeah, man. You just said a whole man. That's what I'm talking about. You need some accountability too, because you sound like you can
Yeah.
teach this thing, man. For real. For real.
Hey, I'm always open to accountability. I'm always open to it. Because it just I mean, see, my mind is like I try to simplify things, right? I try
Okay.
my best sometimes not to get in my own way, and I try my best to kind of break things down to almost a baby can understand it. So, like for example, a long time ago when I was when I used to work at Best Buy, there was somebody in there that we chatted up and stuff. We were cool and stuff, right? So like I brought up like, hey, we should start like a t-shirt brand, something like that, right? And so I started doing the necessary research, right? And he was supposed to look into finding like some people who could possibly print the shirts for us. So I'm doing my research, trying to get the branding, trying to at least get the brand name together, trying to get the logo and stuff together. And all he had to do was find somebody who can print out the shirts. I text him every once in a while, like, hey, bro, like, hey, like, have you found anybody? Like, nah, bro, I haven't got around to it. Another day goes by, hey, bro, you found anybody? Nah, bro, I haven't got around to it. A week goes by, bro, you found anybody? Nah, bro, I haven't got around to it. Like, see, it's like
Damn.
I can't I can't just simply be the only one trying to put in the effort here when you're not making the effort too. So, and at this point, that's not really being. At this point, that's not really accountable. Even though I hold them accountable to that, but the thing is that at the end of the day, I can't force them. So at
Facts.
this point, that just tells me then I just need to not really deal with you in that way no more. Because
Facts.
you could be a good, nice person and all, but when it comes down to want to do something business related, you are just not there. Like you have a lot of other stuff you got going on. And I get
Right.
that, but communicate that with me too. Because just as much as accountability is important, communication is important too for the accountability. Is all in the sauce in the pan. Like you can't just you just can't, skip a couple of pieces of the recipe and they're gonna come out the
Right.
same way. It doesn't work that way.
Facts.
So I I just really I really would love for everybody to have accountability partner. But I think what really comes down to it is that's why I was talking about the term of laziness. Cause
Right.
I feel like that if a person is too lazy enough, like it's okay to be lazy to a certain degree and level, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if we're talking about from a perspective of just life in general, just
Right.
improving your life, whether that's financially, spiritually, or just physically, right? That
Mm-hmm.
everybody needs to get out of their lazy zone for that in order for that to happen. Now, honestly, I can go even more of a deep dive about that whole laziness part because as much as laziness is a thing, there's certain things that amounts to the laziness
Okay.
because that could be because that's can be the food you eat, the stuff you put on your skin, the people you hang
Okay.
around, the drainage of energy the drainage of energy too when you hang around certain individuals.
Oh,
Like
you
you can
really
hang
dropping
around
something now, man. Go ahead.
yeah.
Keep going.
You know how you hang around somebody and then like all of a sudden you get home like damn I felt drained and y'all didn't really do nothing. And then the next thing you know, like on a spiritual level, that person's actually sucking the energy out of you, and you trying to figure out like what the hell's going on here, but like you don't know that. So like there there's certain individuals, certain people that can come in your life that can literally suck the living life out of you, and then by the time it's all said and done, you're ready either to when you go home, you're ready to either go to sleep or you're ready to just lounge on the couch. But it's like, damn, but I still got to go do this, this, and this. What now? You don't have the energy for it no more, right?
Right.
And I ain't gonna go in too detail about the food thing because I still gotta do more research on it, more research on
Mm-hmm.
certain details to kind of keep a conversation flowing that side. But I can at least say this that in all reality, like this has actually been proven multiple times. The food that we eat today has a certain has chemicals in it, processed stuff in there, and
Mm-hmm.
also as well has different ingredients in there that can actually cause you to become lazy. Main example, Thanksgiving. When you go to grandma's house or your mama's house
Not
and they
you ain't
cooking that
hit
turkey,
Thanksgiving.
when you go to get
Not
that
you.
turkey leg and get that stuffing, them yams, sweet
Hey, listen,
potatoes.
I'm a turkey leg head, boy. You heard me? But listen, man. You just said a whole mouthful right there, bro. You can't go with the turkey. You can't not go wrong with the turkey legs. But I
Listen,
get what you're saying.
you may
Go
not
ahead.
go wrong with the turkey leg in terms of taste. I get it. Turkey leg tastes good, especially when it's cooked right and that they juicy falling off the bone. I get it. I get it. But you have to be mindful too that when you're talking about like when we talk about like accountability and relationships, like all that stuff, honestly, when it boils down to it, there's certain things that cause us to be that way. It's not like we were born that way. You feel me? So
Okay.
like you know how you get that, and so like for example, for the Thanksgiving thing, you get the itis after, like you ready to go to sleep, take a nap after eating. And the thing is, there's certain when you eat though, so when you're eating that type of stuff, right?
Right.
It's not really the point of really per se the food itself, it's just what's in it. And so what's
Mm.
in it is what's causing you to start feeling sleepy, deprived of energy, and so forth. So, like, I could talk about, I know for a fact I can talk about this on a spiritual level, 'cause I'm very well versed in that part. I can talk about on a spiritual level. I can even talk about a
Okay.
physical level, and so forth. But it's just the whole point that, when we see different podcasters talk about certain topics and stuff
Right.
like that, it's like when they say like some people, like when they say like some people don't want to do shit, or some people ain't shit, or why is it that this person disrespected me and so forth, right? Like, I ain't gonna say of course everything comes from the food, because there's multiple different things that makes up why a person do what they do. But
Hmm.
it's just when you boil down to it, at least from the perspective of from a spiritual level, in my opinion, is that from the environment you grew up in,
Right.
to also as well who you bring into your life, that can cause certain actions to happen to where it may not be best for you.
I
And
would definitely agree.
that also they could provide a negative light in your life. So, like, for example, let's say I'm hanging around somebody all the time, right? And I'm doing things, I'm trying to do things, excel in life. But you have that
Hmm.
one person that's in your group who's always constantly bashing you, constantly telling you that it's not going to work. And they're supposed to be your friend, right? And then the thing is that when you have certain hiccups in your life, they over here saying, "Hey, it's all right, bro," or "It's all right, girl. It's not meant for you. It's not meant for you right now. It's all okay. Like, it's not, don't worry about it. Find something else." And I'm
Right.
like, the fuck you talking to me like that for? I don't need that type of energy in my life. Like, I'm trying to I'm trying to grow. Like, I don't need that type of negativity in my life.
Facts. Facts.
But
100%.
when people but like when you're talking about accountability and stuff like that, accountability can come from multiple different things. It can come from a friendship, it can come from family members, it can come from a random stranger on the street.
Facts.
And my at least I can speak on my experience. I have people that I consider family that's not even my blood, they're my own blood relatives.
Mm.
Cause when I was doing network marketing, for example, a while back, and I was, trying to sell a product. I was over here trying to do I did a whole presentation on it and everything. My
Hmm.
mom, my dad, for example, said that they're going to do it and all that stuff. Said we support you and blah 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 blah. But then when it came to day of, they like, "Oh, I can't do it," or "Money's tight," or "You know what? That's not really going to work. So why are you doing it?" Like, but then like I go talk to a random stranger about this, and they're excited. Like, they understand. They over here want to support. Like, hey, what else can I do? I'm like, the hell? Like, I'm over here expecting
And
I'm supposed to get this from my own family members, but instead I'm getting it from a random stranger.
but this is gonna hit what does it say? No hit to nobody. But you're telling your goals and your dreams to small-minded people. And so when small-minded people hear of a big audacious goal or a methodology that they're not even used to, remember, the art of selling is a skill. The art of hustle is an art to how you hustle, how you get it.
Mm.
If
Okay.
we take away, I'm not gonna ask my mom, I'm not gonna ask my dad, I'm not gonna ask my brother, I'm not gonna ask my sister, I'm not gonna ask my cousins, I'm not gonna ask any family member. What I'm gonna do, I'm like, listen, you want a chance to win $25, and here's the goal. Boop, 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 boop. That person's gonna take that. That's extra $25 in their pocket. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, hey, would you rather be on a podcast for free, or would you rather pay for a product that my podcast supports? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You keep challenging the deck of cards, like how I'm doing. You challenging, you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna go this method. Okay, I got this many results, but then on this one, I got that many results. Like, it's so big. I need to go with that. Like, I always say, do 3, 5, and like 10. And then like, so you have 10 things, narrow ways of what you're selling your product,
Right.
bring it down to five. Out of those five, pick the three ones that you got results from. Out of those three, choose two that can work for black, white, Asian, Chinese, old, young, and whatever gives you the most result, use that one. But you always have that backup one because you know, like, hey, it's like, hey, Devontae, I got a 21-day accountability challenge workbook that I feel like fits your life that can help you change old habits and new habits. Matter of fact, it probably can even help your significant other if X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? But instead of instead of like selling it to my sister or my brother, I'm coming to you. You know what I'm saying? So go
Yeah.
after the people that you want. That's what I think too is also another thing. Because I've been let down like that many times, man. My cousins say, hey, I'm gonna pay you this week. Where the money at? I done gave you everything. You done got it. You happy. You done took pictures in it. Or I'll wear it again. I'll let you know when it. I ain't got time for that. I need to see that today. I need that right now. My bills
Yeah.
don't, my bills,
They don't wait. They
shoot,
don't
what you
wait.
talking about? Yeah,
So let's do so let's change the topic a little bit.
go ahead.
Um so in relationships, we hear a lot about emotional availability these days, right? And what's your take on why so many people seem drawn to emotional unavailable partners? And how can someone break that cycle and hold themselves accountable for seeking healthier connections?
Oh, wow, that's that right there. I like that. Okay, so here it is. To seek more emotional developed relationships, work on self. You got to work
Okay.
on self. When you work on self, that's mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. But once you work on that self, like you do that, you do your homework on yourself. What you want to see in other people, there is not going to be 100%. Remember that. Nothing's ever 100%. So there are things that you do that your significant other might not do, vice versa. But in order to get there and to choose the better person, because you deserve it, man, just look yourself in the mirror and say, this is all the qualifications that I am. These are the areas that I lack. And when you talk to a person, you say, hey, listen, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is me, 100%. And once you say all of those things that you about, that you do, or X, Y, and Z, man, it's nothing that you cannot have. It's nothing that you cannot do, not do. It's not that you can't seek that good person that's in the scripture, can't seek that person that's in the fitness, that person that's very intellectually inclined. Hey, even the dumb person. But it's you pick your poison when you choose not to notice like the red flags. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you
Hmm.
remember the movie, his example, Batman, I think it was Batman Returns, when the Joker and whatever, he was like in a psychotic ward or whatever, and he had a
Yeah.
nurse that kept giving him pills, and then
Yeah.
it ends up the nurse ends up falling for him, or his
Hmm.
therapist ends up falling for him. Think about that. She never felt valued. She never felt important. She had a mindset that was like, I got a good job. I'm making good money. I drive. I do this, and but what the Joker was able to do was psychologically let her know that you are more than just a doctor. You are more than just this beautiful blonde or blah blah blah. You're this. You're that. She's never heard those things before. So then her mindset shifted. Okay, I can give him a little extra. He don't have to take this today. And he fed off of it, and they became closer and closer and closer. And it wasn't nothing that he wouldn't do to help her, vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Then comes back to the relationship. He likes doing crazy, wild things. She likes being like safe, but then also living life on the wild side. Put those two together, dynamic relationship. I don't have a problem. defending a person I love. You don't have a problem defending the person that you love. Whether you commit to it right now, you're not going to let nothing happen to your significant other. Or if you had a child or your children, you're not going to let nothing happen to them, period. You will die first before something ever happening to them, knowing that you put your best foot forward. So when it comes down to that relationship aspect, you pick the person who offsets you, but then also recalibrates you to be the young individual that you are, man or woman.
Okay. Also, I want to dissect that a little bit too. So
Go ahead.
I agree. Everything you pretty much said really was spot on. I would only thing I would do add to that is I think it too is the approach of how you
Hmm.
tackle it, right? So when we're talking about emotionally unavailable people, right? That
Hmm.
that also can include people who checked out of a relationship, right? Like y'all could be
Hmm.
together but not together. That makes sense, right? And
Right.
so I've had that issue happen in the past with me where that even though me and her was in a relationship, sorry, even though me and her was in a relationship, we she she wasn't she I can tell I can just feel like she wasn't really
Okay.
there, right?
Hmm.
So I was trying to figure out like what's going on. And so I mean the only way to
Right.
really find out is to ask what's going on. And so when you don't ask, right? Or
Right.
you take longer to ask 'cause you trying to do like your own little captain, you try to be like your own little investigator, trying to figure out
Hmm.
what's going on. Now you're creating this gap. Within this gap, this is where most relationships tend to go sideways. And so let's just say January 4th, right? You start
Hmm.
noticing something. And then you didn't really say nothing until let's say let's just say July 10th. From January
Damn.
between January and July, there's a whole gap right there. And during that gap,
Yes.
that's when things get crazy, whether that's between cheating, whether that's between
Hmm.
toxicity starts happening, whether that's
Hmm.
between that you like just all of a sudden just get home, but the next thing you know, somebody that person said didn't even talk. Next thing you know, they said they didn't want to be in a relationship with you no more. And
Hmm.
then when that stuff happens, then all of a sudden you start hearing, well, you haven't been intimate with me enough, or I don't appreciate how you talk to me, or I don't enjoy how you be out all night, but then when you come home, you don't even take the time to want to spend time with me, right? And when so within that gap, that's when it starts causing issues in a relationship to where now a person becomes emotionally unavailable to you and now your trust is destroyed. And so then when your trust is destroyed, once you destroy that trust, now you're talking about your whole foundation just crumbles at that point. For you to rebuild that is going to take time and that it's going to take time and effort put in. And that's only if that person is willing to still stay with you in that regard to just for y'all to build if y'all really love each other. Cause not everybody has that. Not everybody has that luxury.
Facts.
You feel me?
100%. I agree. Do you would you take somebody back if they cheated on you?
If it's a mental cheat, then yeah. Physically cheating, that's gonna be tough. Cause here's the thing, right? For men, for us men, right? If we cheat, it's only because there's
Hmm.
something lacking, and so we're just going to get that, and that's it. Cause we don't have to have an attachment to that person. But when a woman cheats, though, most times, not all women,
Okay.
just some women, they tend to cheat only because they see when they cheat though, it's from an emotional first
Okay.
because they're emotional creatures. It's an
There it
emotional tie.
is. Okay.
You feel me? So when there's an emotional tie, that emotional tie can then cause to where that cheating now feels more like an actual intimate moment with that person.
Hmm.
So now, like when because that's been a whole conversation for like the longest time. They say, well, when men cheat and women cheat is the same. No, it's not the same because when we cheat, it's only because there's something lacking, or that we just trying to get one off real quick. But that's just for the moment. you've been talking to such and such for a long time, and
Hmm.
you already deeply devoted to that person mentally first before the physical.
Right.
Can not most women's gonna get not most women's gonna get with somebody physical first before the mental. They want their mind to be stimulated and be in a and be in some type of state of mind first before they give the body to somebody. So like if you're lacking on your side of the relationship and you're not providing that no more to her, she's gonna find that somewhere else. And it goes the same thing vice versa. That if a woman's not doing certain things that a man enjoys within the relationship, or y'all can at least come to some type of common ground, he's going to go find it somewhere else. So
Facts.
it's both ways, a two-way street here. It's just that the whole thing, when it comes down to it, is that when a woman cheats, it's from emotional first. So when you ask, like, will I take her back? That's going to be extremely hard. It depends on the severity of the cheat, in my
Okay.
opinion. So
Okay.
how about you? Will you take her back if she cheats on you?
Listen,
It
we're
always
on the
starts with the
whole.
listen.
Mentally, yes. Physically, no. And the reason being is because and I'll just say the mindset of a man, to see you lay down with another man, visualizing it, and then you're telling me you love me. Well, wasn't your legs folded up when you bent over doggy style? When you giving him some head? When you doing all these nasty things that you would do with me to him, to a
You
complete
doing all those
stranger?
special tricks that I thought was supposed to be
Right,
for me. You doing with him now?
right. So in my mind, it will never ever be the same. I could, we could fuck it time after time. We can do whatever, but
Don't expect it to be anything more though.
100, 1,000, 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000%, like for sure.
Okay, so well, this actually kind of covers attachment style. I was gonna get into attachment styles, but I mean, what we're talked about is already kind of consistent in that in a way. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
however you
skip
want
to
to do
the.
it.
I got you. I'm gonna skip to the other one. So, um,
Dun,
in your
dun, dun,
opinion, how
dun, dun,
important is
dun.
it to understand your partner's love language when holding each other accountable for creating a healthy relationship? Have you seen accountability break down because people don't speak the same love language?
Yes, 100, 1,000%. Because I think and the importance is understanding what is your strong points and what is your weak points, and not and once you outline those things, it's not honing in on, oh, because you can't read this fast, you're not going to read this book, or because you can't cook rice, you can't cook. You know what I'm saying? Or
Hmm.
because I can do math equations better than like you don't want a person that's like always in competition. You don't want to ever be the love language where it's my toxic trait is beating you down and then then turn around and I'm loving you and then I'm sexing you down and then you're like you was just being mean to me and that's a part of your toxic trait, but you love me. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
understanding what levels or what molecular levels that you guys are both on. What is your highs? What is your lows? What is your evens and what is your odds? What ticks you off? Like if a person was like, hey, JR, what pisses you off about X, Y, and Z? I should be able to tell that individual. Same thing with you. If somebody say, hey, Devontae, what upsets you the most? What grinds your gears to the next level where you can't either stand to look at that person? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That happens. So now that because of that happening, it's like, bet I know what not to do now. I know what not to go for now. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's where you start. And then once you do that, it's like, man, you'll pick the right person. And sometimes you have to go through a couple people at times in your life in the beginning. But once you lock in on your person, man, just give it all you got. And that's what I've learned. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna keep learning. But every day, oh, that's another thing, real quick.
Hmm.
You'll never ever stop ever learning. You'll forever be a
Student.
a I don't say student, but I was gonna go another level with it.
Okay.
I was gonna go with soul tie. Like if you found your person,
Okay.
so like that's your soul tie. Meaning that that person can be like, shut the fuck up. And then you'd be like, hey bro, we don't need to play like that. You know what I'm saying? I was just playing. My bad, babe. I'm sorry. I apologize. Like that. Or hey, that dress makes you look fat. But I like it when you wear them booty shorts around the house. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? You kind
It's
of you
great.
learn
Yes, it's creating like a dynamic to where, like, if there's certain things, it's more so putting up in like in a joking manner, but also too that helps too if the person also have a sense of humor. Because that person don't have a sense of humor, it's kind of hard to do that. So now
facts,
you got to talk about tackling
100%.
that in a whole different perspective now, if that's the case.
Yeah,
But like,
definitely.
if you saying things in a joking manner, then it won't come off then as you being mean or toxic. It's just your joke. You're saying it, but you're saying it in a way to where they get it, but it's not like, hey, like I'm trying to be mean to you, type of deal, right?
Facts. Right.
And another thing too is when it comes to love languages is you got to understand your person's love language, and the same thing vice versa. So like the main dynamics in love languages is physical touch, words of affirmation, uh, spending quality time,
Mm-hmm.
gifts, and I
Acts of
think
service.
acts of service. So like for example, um, in my relationship,
Mm-hmm.
my girlfriend, she's acts of service first. Well, she's physical touch, but it's more so active service first and quality time. So
Okay.
those usually her top two. Then it's physical touch right after. For me, it's physical touch and words of affirmation.
All
So
right. Just cheering
when
you on. Like, Hercules, Hercules. Like, yeah, you know what time it is, baby. I like how you got your hair did or something like
oh yeah, when I
that.
say stuff like that, she does give a giggle and then she does give like the awkward face. Like, what you making an awkward face for? I'm over here giving you a compliment. Like it's just like something that she's not used to. So like
Right.
over time she's getting better and better understanding it. But um one thing though was that because our love languages are different, it did cause a friction for a while in terms of like it was creating problems. And so
Hmm.
when we was able to sit down and discuss it in thorough, and honestly too, just did couples therapy, it kind of we were able to do a deep dive into what were the reasons why certain things
Okay.
played out the way they did.
Couples therapy.
So
Okay.
that's something I actually would recommend everybody. For everybody out there, I recommend that y'all do couples therapy if y'all really do love each other. If y'all have certain traits within each other, y'all still gotta figure out. Y'all can try to come to conclusion doing couples therapy, but also depends on the therapist. So most therapists so far that I've came across has been pretty well, but everybody got to find out one they can vibe with though on that type of level too as well. That's how I feel about it.
Right.
And personally too, I feel like female therapists are better only because they're women, they're nurturers. So I honestly feel that a female therapist is better for couples therapy, in my personal opinion. And really in therapy in general, but that's just me. I ain't saying
Okay.
men ain't incapable of it. I'm just saying in terms of, at least for me, my experiences, women therapists has at
Right.
least been better for me. So, um, but yeah, though, when one thing too that you actually talked about too, instead of like when you were talking about like people clashing together, right? It's like I've actually saw this video where dude said that when you're about to get in a relationship with somebody, you're dating somebody, right? And you dating to become in a relationship with them and to marry them eventually, right? The thing is that y'all are not. You want to make sure before you get into a deep involvement with that person, You want to make sure
Hmm.
that you got to figure out if they're either your opponent or if they are your ally at the end of the day.
Oh, I like that. Either you're my opponent or my ally.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
because you don't want to have your opponent inside the same household with you. And now
Right.
y'all constantly bickering and things, and then next thing you know, A leads to B, B leads to D, next thing D leads to Z, and next thing you know, you could either end up on the news. Who knows? You know, we've seen some crazy shit out here these days. So you never
That
know.
Cassie and Diddy shit is crazy.
Man, listen, I think as long as you got baby oil, that'll solve all your problems right there. If you got baby oil, I think that'll solve 99.9% of the world problems right there. We can just
Oh my
slide through
gosh.
anything.
No way. No Diddy. No. No.
No, I've been seeing hella clips too as well, like skits when it show Diddy in jail, and it say, yeah, "Bad boys for life, come over here," and it starts showing the dude like, "No, no, no, don't take my butt." Say, "Bad boy." I- I'm just
but
like, you
but
know what? I'm done. I had enough internet.
yeah,
That's
that
enough internet.
part. But that just goes to tell you though, too, to piggyback off of really quick what you said,
Uh huh.
choose the right person. Be careful who you choose your mate and learn them. Like do certain things, go through certain things. You know what I'm saying? Because not everything is going to be perfect. Don't look for a perfect relationship. Work on building the building blocks to make your relationship secured,
Facts.
safe, a place of peace, a place of balance. And once you get those little components, and for those who are spiritual, make sure
Hmm.
y'all have a spiritual connection to serve like God or give praise and thanks to God, where you can pray together, where you could turn around and just love on each other. Love the components that got you to that next level. Like you said, therapy. I would say going on dates. You guys are finna go out of town. You guys finna have a blast. You know what I'm saying? And then come back home and still cheer each other on. You want to have those things in your relationship as much as possible. Sometimes those things will fall off, but then there it goes back to the accountability. Your significant other holds you accountable to be who you are. And that goes for everybody: man, woman, boy, girl, old, young, new, old. It's like I said, once you know that you ain't going nowhere, or that person
Hmm.
ain't going nowhere, it's a wrap, man. Like I said, bruh, you got so many relationship gems in this thing. This, shoot, this is one of them moments, man.
I'm gonna teach you something when we finish this. I'm gonna teach you something. So, lastly, because we're about to get ready to wrap this up a little bit. Um, I know you've been on this podcast journey for a while now. What have been some of the biggest challenges of learning moments for you as a podcaster, especially as someone um, who focuses on real and unfiltered conversations? What advice would you give someone who wanted to start their own podcast, especially if they want to focus on personal development and helping others stay accountable?
First, go ahead and get the 21-day accountability workbook, and if you can make it through that, you'll tap furthermore in me. I give you some more information, and like I said, but also just saying that you want to do it and being actionable to doing it, or taking accountable actions to do it. That's another thing. So if you were like, if a person was like really serious about it, I would tell them, hey, grab this 21-day accountability workbook and go through it. Study your market, study your niche. Now, look at some of the podcasts that you've seen before or that you like. Is that where you're going, or is that something that you want to like emulate, um, to be something like that, or imitate, however you want to use it? But that's what I tell them. Look at the podcast that you are currently watching right now. Is that your niche? Is that your market? Is that your target audience? Those things that you can complete in the 21 days. That way you'll know, hey, I really want to do it. because you focus on that one thing, you do all the key components to put it together.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a whole show. The hardest part about being a podcaster, I'd say, was starting. Self doubt, self sabotage, looking at what everybody else does. Man, why I'm not doing it? Why can't I? I can't do it because they got money. When you've seen 1 million views one time, you can't unsee it. When you see that
Mm.
your podcast has hit 1 million views, you can't unsee it. Your mindset should shift and say, how can I do this again? How can I do this again and again and again and again and again? Because once you do something that you love or passionate about, you start to develop your purpose. You start developing that line of trust and belief. And like you're not empathetic to people hating on you because guess what? Listen, all my went viral. Now what? One hater, 15 other congratulators. You're mad because you're not in my position. You got to have that strong headed mindset to say, this is what I'm going to do. Like I would bet later on down the road, they're going to have a school where you can go to school to become a podcaster and get a certificate. And now, hey, I went to GIU, so to get a certificate doesn't mean you know it. You really have to start now, which is doing the homework and setting up yourself in position. And that's what I had to learn. I had to set up myself in position. Oh, get you a mentor. I cannot tell you more. Get you a mentor. Get you a mentor. Go through the program because people pay attention to what they pay for. And when you really, really want it, you're not going to waste that money.
Mm. Oh gosh, brother. Dang. Okay. Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Those are some valuable gems right there. I appreciate it. And I agree with you too. Mentor, 100%. Mentor is going to lead you the quickest to the top because they already went through the problems already. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something I abide by 1 billion% is get you a mentor. Mentors already have the blueprint for you. You just got to follow it. Once you follow it,
Facts.
you good. Just trust the process. Next thing you know, you could be on a yacht to Bora Bora in a matter of months. Who knows? You just got to
Listen,
trust the process.
listen, I'm trying to go to Tulum. I'm trying to be in Mexico.
You see, I can't go to Mexico right now. Listen, only because if I hear one girl says Poppy, I'm losing it, so I can't go. Again, I can't do it right now. All she gotta do is say Poppy. Next thing you know, I'll be single there. I ain't trying to do that. Not trying to get in trouble. Okay, you gonna make me get in trouble? How dare you? You're supposed to be a good person. Don't trying to fuck me
I was
over.
trying to go there to do a podcast, but shit, you
Uh
know
huh.
what you
Uh
talking
huh.
about.
Uh huh.
You
Uh-huh.
know.
You'll be sitting down shooting a podcast. You will see one lady walk by and say, "Hey, Poppy." You was like you just gonna stop talking mid sentence. Like I was as I was saying.
I can't with you, man. This is definitely this has definitely been one of the top notch best virtual experiences of a podcast that I've ever had. So I thank you.
I appreciate it, bro. That means a lot to me. It's only up from here.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you on that 21-day accountability challenge, bro. I'm putting you on. I'm sending you. Yeah, I'm gonna send that to you.
Oh yeah, I'm down for it. I got
Okay.
you. So
Okay.
where can people find you and more of your content? And what's the next big thing coming from the Real Shit Let's Talk podcast?
Man, I'm glad you asked. So I don't know when you're gonna drop this. So I'll say this. It'll be an episode, depending on when he drops it. It's up every Thursday on all platforms. That's YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeart, any distribution networks that you can go listen to podcasts, any distribution networks that you can go watch podcasts. It's all on there, man. It's at Real Shit Let's Talk podcast on anything, on all platforms. It's gonna come up. Now I'm number two for the, I'm trying to get my Google spot. So once I get my Google
Hey.
spot, like I'm working. I always call myself number two because I'm always learning. And then it'll take me 2 seconds to get it, and then next thing you know, I'll be in the top feed of X, Y, and Z of people. So yeah, man, on all social and media platforms, it's real shit. Let's talk podcast. It's gonna come up, Jr. And then hey, if you ever want to be on, hey, tap in with Devontae. He'll get you on his. You come on mine. Tap in. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you, JR, for being here today and sharing your real talk. Any last words for our audience who's ready to take their lives and relationships to the next level before we close it out?
And I'll tell you this, man. Tap into Devontae, uh, social media, everything, because he's got the gems, y'all. I don't think he has them, but he got the gems. Then I'll tell you, hey, join next week's episode when you see Devontae drop again. Keep watching. Click like, subscribe on his. Also, if you do want to be held accountable, hey, I got a 21-day accountability challenge workbooks that helps you get to the next level. It helps you shift old habits into new habits, discipline, and hold yourself accountable. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, y'all, appreciate y'all for joining us today on the Soul Saint podcast. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope y'all got some gems, and I hope y'all mindset shifted a little bit too, as well. Get a new perspective on things. So if it did, make sure to like, subscribe, make sure to follow for more content like this. And until then, stay tuned, stay sold up, stay synced. Peace.